and welcome to the new episode of We Talk Talent Series Season 5, the show where we bring you insightful conversations with top HR leaders shaping the future of talent management. And today, we are joined by Arjun Chatterjee, Director and Head of Talent Acquisition, Sun Life Global Solutions, India. Arjun, welcome, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Anmol, for the introduction and for having me here today. It's truly an honor, as I said, to be a part of the Week Talk Talent series on the evolving talent landscape in India. So thank you so much for inviting me over.
So before we dive into the discussion, I would like to briefly introduce today's speaker to our viewers. Arjun is a people leader with almost 2 decades of extensive experience of human resources, acquisition, and talent management. He has been managing and leading key talent acquisition portfolios across varied skill groups and domains, including IT, ITES, consulting, embedded hardware, telecom manufacturing, and sales, etc. Over these years, he worked for various multinational organizations, Silicon Valley startups, and Fortune 500 organizations, enabling them grow with top class and high performing talent. In his last role, he led technology recruitment for American Express India and was responsible for setting up the COE for offshore sourcing anchored out of India market. Prior to that, he has been a senior talent acquisition leader with Converges, and he has also held senior HR leadership positions with GE Capital, Aon Hewlett, and Odex Lab, among others. So, starting with my first question, Arjun, the workplace has gone through a lot of changes over the past couple of years. So, how is your industry tackling these changes? If you can share a brief overview with us.
Certainly, Anmol, first of all, I just want to start with a brief note. As we kind of interact and have a conversation today, it is also my pleasure to
Yeah.
represent Sun Life Global Solutions. One of the things at Sun Life we take pride is in our commitment to fostering a workplace culture that
Mhm.
values on innovation, diversity, and continuous learning.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I'm here today is because as the head of talent acquisition for Sun Life
Mhm.
Global Solutions, I have the privilege of witnessing the first-hand transformative impact that strategic talent management can have on the organization's success.
Yeah.
Now, diving into your question, Anmol, you mentioned about how the industry is tackling the challenge that the workplace has gone through over the past couple of years.
Mhm.
So we represent what is called as the global in-house captive. The global in-house captive, Anmol, has also evolved over the years from back office, middle office, to very high-end value work that the global in-house captives are doing today.
Okay.
Most of the global in-house captive, Anmol, have undergone significant transformations in response
Mhm.
to the evolving workplace dynamics over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Specifically, post-COVID impact has kind of changed the way the future of work will happen.
Mhm.
First and foremost, what has also happened is a digital acceleration
Mhm.
uh, with an adoption of digital technologies.
Yeah.
Global in-house captives have also embraced digitalization, leveraged advanced technologies such as cloud computing, artificial
Mhm.
intelligence, and automation to enhance operational efficiencies and
Mhm.
to adapt to the ever-evolving demand of the digital workforce.
Yeah.
This is also, Anmol, has allowed for seamless collaboration, communication, ensuring business continuity and productivity.
Mhm.
The other aspect, Anmol, I would like to draw your attention to is hybrid and remote work. I'm sure most of us are today living in a hybrid-based work environment,
Mhm.
and a lot of companies still are trying to figure out the secret sauce of what a good hybrid workplace looks like.
Yeah.
But I think hybrid is here to stay, and
Mhm.
it's also
Yeah.
become a very, very prominent feature of the workplace landscape today.
Mhm.
In the response to the global events, Anmol, that I iterated in my previous statement,
Yeah.
that unfolded, specifically COVID and other aspects, right? Many global in-house captives today are swiftly implementing remote workplace policies. So the shift is necessitated, Anmol, to focus on virtual collaboration tools, cybersecurity measures, strategies to maintain employee engagement and well-being in a remote setting.
Yeah.
Lastly, as I mentioned that, while you're moving hybrid, you're
Mhm.
adapting digital, you're also looking at a workforce which can be constantly scaled, upskilled, and reskilled. So the
Mhm.
reskilling initiatives have gained prominence. With the changing nature of work, the demand for new skill sets. Global in-house captives in India have significantly invested, and specifically our organization, in
Mhm.
upskilling programs to ensure that their workforce remains equipped with latest capabilities. There is a shift of focus now, Anmol, on continuous learning that aligns with the broader trend of preparing employees for the demand of a digital era. We are living in a digital
Yeah.
era, so the demands of a digital era has to be embraced upon.
You kept it very well, Arjun. And so I want to know, according to you and your industry demands, what type of skill shortage do you think is causing the talent war?
Wow. And I could just answer it by, saying that I have a receding hairline. But having that said, the intensified war for talent in GIC ecosystem, and I'm
Mhm,
restricting this conversation on more to the ecosystem that we operate in,
mhm,
for the benefit of the listeners. Is primarily driven by the demand for specialized skills aligned with technology advancement.
mhm,
A lot of GICs, as you may be aware, Anmol, are also going through a modernization, digital transformation imperative. So, the technology advancement, digital transformation, evolving business needs. I think the
mhm,
user has also gotten smart. So, they also have different needs which are aligned to the digital strategies of the organization. So,
mhm,
specifically, if I talk about some of the skill shortages are in the field of data analytics, big data, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, machine learning,
mhm,
actuarial skills. There's a lot of focus on underwriting expertise and risk management professional because with a hybrid and a remote setup, so you are also exposed and prone to a lot of cybersecurity issues
yeah,
because your cybersecurity threats continues to pose challenges globally. And for
mhm,
captives in India, a lot of captives have started securing cybersecurity experts to
mhm,
safeguard their digital assets, and to also ensure that the security of their IT infrastructure.
yeah,
I'll briefly touch upon and more on the risk management side,
mhm,
given that I operate out of an environment which is an insurance organization, which also is in the business of asset under management.
mhm,
The captives are establishing ways to manage and mitigate risk,
mhm,
specifically to the parent organization. So the
mhm,
availability of skilled risk management professionals becomes very, very critical.
mhm,
This includes people who can access and assess the risk, analyze the risk potential, and also implement effective risk management strategies that can have a positive impact to the organization.
yeah,
Lastly, I would also harness on the language skills because as we are evolving as a geography,
mhm,
many of the captives actually are serving as a hub for customer support, technical support, and other client-facing roles. So
mhm,
therefore, your language skill proficiency in English and other languages like French, German are becoming very, very critical, and this will continue to grow as we kind of go forward. Lastly, while you have your technical skills, your language skills, I
mhm,
think it's also imperative to understand that the technical skill is actually the soft skill and the leadership attributes. So
mhm,
beyond technical skills, there has been a significant appreciation and a recognition for the importance of soft skills such as
mhm,
communication, teamwork, problem solving, leadership. Companies, today when at least I go out and hire, right? I mean, I am looking at a well-rounded professional who can contribute to a positive work environment.
yeah. Definitely. So, as we delve into discussions on organizational strategies and their adaptation to the evolving employment landscape, Arjun, I'm particularly interested in gaining insights into your employer branding strategy. Could you elaborate how your approach to employer branding has evolved over the past couple of years?
Certainly, I'll also try and make it as specific as possible and more because
Yeah.
there will be restrictions in terms of sharing everything and anything.
Mm. Yeah.
But I think, and again, I'm going to keep it a little broad based to the GIC or the captive capability center ecosystem. I
Mhm.
think our shift has been towards more holistic, employee centric approach that
Mhm.
aligns with the changing expectations and values of the workforce.
Yeah.
When I talked about the digital presence, I'm going to reinforce on the employee value proposition part. There are
Mm.
advocacy programs. There is inclusive learning programs,
Mm.
opportunities. My apologies there.
Okay.
Agile work environment
Mm.
and a social impact
Mm.
that we are wanting to create to be a compelling employer brand that resonates up with top talent.
Mm.
Now few key imperatives or some of the branding strategies that we continue to focus and harness upon is one, certainly, if you are a GIC GCC captive, talent is the only place that you cannot compromise on. So your digital presence and your online reputation becomes very, very critical.
Definitely.
Secondly, when I talk about employee value proposition, right? I mean, from a traditional job-centric EVPs to a more
Mm.
holistic approach that highlights on the overall employee experience. This also includes Anmol, emphasizing on career development frameworks. So
Mm.
from that narrative of a job to a career, that's the transition in terms of our EVP that we are
Mm.
wanting to build. work-life balance being very, very critical, and specifically after post-COVID environment where there's a lot of focus on employee well-being.
Hmm.
And lastly, a supportive work environment. Uh, when I talk about our employee advocacy programs, we are harnessing the power of employees as brands and
Hmm.
brand ambassadors.
Hmm.
And that's a part of our EVP value chain,
Hmm.
which has evolved from your occasional testimonials to structured initiatives
Hmm.
that encourages employees to share their experiences on social media and professional network.
Hmm.
Lastly, we are heavily invested and vested rather in community engagements and social engagements,
Hmm.
and this is very purposeful in nature for us. So we are creating a very purposeful impact to the community at large.
Yeah.
Corporate social responsibility, branding imperatives, and community engagements have also evolved over the years, and
Hmm.
our initiatives are a reflection of who we are and what is the values that we drive for the societal well-being.
Yeah. Arjun, can you please throw some light on your DE&I agenda as well?
Well, Anmol, you've kind of asking very tough questions, but I'll try and answer as simple as possible.
Hmm.
I would not just talk about D, E, and I agenda per se, but we also have a B associated with this. So that is diversity, equity, inclusion, and belongingness. So
Yeah.
that's a part of our DNA. At Sunlight Global Solutions, Anmol, we are deeply committed to fostering a workplace that
Hmm.
values and celebrates diversity.
Hmm.
Diversity, not just from a gender representation standpoint, but across diversity and diverse groups,
Yeah.
ethnicity. Our commitment to inclusion is embedded in our organizational DNA, and we
Hmm.
recognize the strength of diverse perspectives to evolve as an organization.
Hmm.
One of the key imperatives that we are driving is creating a culture of belonging, and that focus, Anmol, actually goes beyond just mere diversity numbers. We are
Okay.
dedicating a culture where every individual feels
Hmm.
a sense of belonging, regardless of their background, identity, and experiences.
Hmm.
One of the things that we truly, you know, empower and encourage is to have an inclusive environment where one and everyone can thrive and contribute to the best.
Yeah.
Uh, the other imperative on our DEIB is inclusive leadership, and our leadership team is dedicated to championing this inclusivity.
Hmm.
And that is also reflective in our values, which also translate in everyday actions, decisions, and policies.
Hmm.
And it is not just a goal, but our fundamental aspect of an organizational strategy that we have today. Uh, Anmol, I must tell you that we have some fantastic employee resource groups,
Hmm.
and we actively, engage our employees with this employee resource group, which provides them a platform to connect, share experiences, and contribute to a more inclusive workplace.
Hmm.
These groups also, Anmol, at some point in time becomes very pivotal
Hmm.
to fostering a sense of community and understanding amongst our workforces. Lastly, I would not say it's lastly actually, but there are a lot of
Hmm.
other elements to it, Anmol, but I'll keep it brief. Our
Yeah. Definitely.
education and awareness programs, our diverse talent acquisition programs,
Hmm.
talent acquisition, because why? Because I represent that function.
Yeah.
But building a diverse workforce starts with the hiring practices. That's what we believe in.
Hmm.
We are actively working to attract talent from diverse backgrounds,
Hmm.
ensuring that our recruitment process are inclusive and equitable. This extends to partnerships with organizations that share our commitment to diversity in the workplace. A couple of more things that we do. One is on the Equity and Fairness Index,
Hmm.
metrics and accountability on our DEI,
Hmm.
and community and social engagement and impact, and a sense of continuous improvement. How can we evolve in this ever evolving journey?
That's really interesting, Arjun. And my last question to you that you have been into this human resources spaces for now more than 2 decades, and you must have faced most of the several challenges in your career. So, what are some of the most prominent challenges that you have faced in this talent acquisition space, and what are your strategies to overcome them?
See, I think, and I'll try and make it as simple for everybody to comprehend. But I mean, there are a multitude of challenges that every organization goes through in their effort to hire the best or the top talent.
Mhm.
But I think addressing talent acquisition challenges becomes also a very, very vital element for everybody. And for Sun Life Solutions, we've been very successful through certain strategies that we've adopted to kind of navigate through the challenging environment. Specifically, if I talk about pre-COVID and post-COVID, both. both have kind of transformed the way we look at talent, the way we hire talent, the way we engage talent, and how meaningful are you in the journey in terms of providing and sharing the right set of experiences.
Mm,
As you rightly said, that there are certain strategies that one needs to adopt in terms of ensuring that we are able to strategize better and hire faster.
yeah.
One of the things that we in fact dwelled upon was the employer branding piece, initiatives that emphasize Sun Life Global Solutions commitment towards innovation,
Mm,
employee development, and positive work culture.
mm,
We build a proactive pipeline of talent, basis our business decisions, basis our imperatives as an organization. We chart out multi-year journeys
mm,
to ensure that what has got us here and what can get us there, right? So that's the phenomenal that's a phenomenon that we want to drive. The
mm,
nature of our operations, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about some of the challenges that most of the recruiters face in a day in and day out is on the niche skills part, right? I mean, when I say niche skills, these are transformative skill sets.
mm,
The challenge would be that professional with specialized skill are high in demand and low in supply.
mm,
What can you do to kind of circumvent those challenges? One is, of course, build very strategic partnerships with education institutes, so your early mind share, and you start early in the process.
yeah.
You also build programs with the academia to ensure that your talent is actually coming in with a certain expectation from a skill fitment standpoint and skill alignment perspective. Additionally, our focus is not just to harness external talent, but to build people internally. So, while talent acquisition has always been outbound focused, here the talent acquisition function is both inbound and outbound. In fact, we emphasize more on inbound, and hence we partner very effectively with cross-functional human resources teams and functions to drive the prophecy of how we can ensure
Mm,
a continuous learning and upskilling our people. The other challenge is on the DI charter, right? I mean, a lot of organizations struggle when it comes to identifying people beyond just the diversity.
mm,
So, on diversity, equity, inclusion, and I'm just restricted to diversity for now. Now, diversity itself is not just gender focused, right? I mean, there's more
yeah.
parameters to diversity. So, how can you build sustainable models to
Mm,
drive those diversity? So, one way is to present or to be present in the forums, communities where you have diverse pool of talent. The other is, how can you have more inclusive policies where people are open to come and join you, right? So you have to make them feel comfortable before you even go and approach them or hire them. Our employee resource groups, from that perspective, act as a very, very strong contributor in terms of, be able to drive our DI imperative or hiring imperative
mm,
focused on DI specific issues. We've also adapted to a recruitment process charter for the changing work environment that
mm,
includes, a more significant investment that has actually gone into technology adoption that facilitates remote interviews, promoting flexibility of interview and work arrangements,
mm,
emphasizing also on our commitment to making sure that the experience is very, very seamless.
mm.
Uh, I'm sure when you ask a hiring manager when do you want to hire, and that is as of yesterday, so we are no stranger to that practice as well. So the speed of hiring is becoming very, very critical. So how swiftly you can hire crucially, and that's where I spoke about the forward fulfillment plan, which
Mhm.
basically talks about building pipelines of talent for now and emerging skill sets in a fast-paced business landscape, right? I mean, these skill sets are changing very, very quickly. So, the other way to look at it is how can you streamline this process? How can you have like an assessment center for interview processes so that you don't have to depend on specific individuals to do the hiring process for you, but it could be a collective group of individuals who can do the hiring for you.
Absolutely, these are important points to consider. And thank you so much, Arjun, for sharing your valuable perspective with us today.
Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure having you on this show. And for our viewers, let's continue to learn and grow together. And don't forget to tune in to the next episode of We Talk Talent series. Have a fantastic day ahead. Thank you.